Welcome to NTD Evening News. Our top story tonight, tragedy on New Year's Day. Some 40 people were killed and more than 100 injured in a fire at a Swiss Alpine ski resort. What we know so far. Just hours into the new year, Russia and Ukraine accuse each other of striking civilian targets. Arian Pazdar has the details on Russia's claim that Ukraine killed 24 civilians. An escalation in Iran between protesters and security forces. The first deaths are reported as demonstrations spread over the country's ailing economy. New York City officially has a new mayor today. Zohran Mamdani was inaugurated as the first Democratic socialist to hold office. Chris Bob reports from Manhattan. Preliminary data shows that 2025 had the biggest drop in homicides on record. Crime is also decreasing in every major category nationwide. Jason Blair brings us the numbers.
This is NTD Evening News, live from our global headquarters in New York City. Here's Tiffany Meyer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. A New Year's celebration that turned into a tragedy. Authorities say around 40 people are dead and some 115 others injured after a fire in Switzerland. It happened in an upscale alpine ski resort town called Crans, Montana.
Then it
was around 1:30 a.m. when smoke was spotted coming from a bar located in the center of the Crans station. A few seconds later, a witness contacted the engagement center of the Valais Cantonal police to report the fire. Immediately, the red alarm intended to mobilize the firefighters was triggered, and less than a minute later, at 1:32 a.m., the first police patrols arrived on the scene.
Many of the victims are young people, and most of the injured are in serious condition. Authorities warn that it could take days or even weeks to identify the victims. Many of them could be foreign visitors. Condolences have poured in from around the world. The Swiss president visited the site of the tragedy today and thanked the foreign governments that are expressing solidarity. He said this could be one of the worst disasters Switzerland has ever experienced. Mourners gathered to lay flowers and light candles at a memorial near the site. The cause of the fire and safety standards at the bar are under investigation. Here's more on the New Year's Day tragedy.
Police cordons and forensic tents shielded a bar where dozens of people were killed in a fire early on Thursday in the Swiss ski resort of Crans, Montana. Officials say a fire broke out at 1:30 a.m. in a bar called La Constellation in the resort in southwestern Switzerland. The cause remains unclear, but authorities said it appeared to be an accident. The head of security for the Valais Canton said some of the victims are from other countries, with a helpline opened for relatives. I cannot hide it from you. We are shaken by what happened last night, the canton's head of police, Frédéric Gesler, said. People in the town were visibly shaken and worried for loved ones.
I know someone who might have been among the victims, and I can't reach her. I'm very worried. I'm going to try to contact other people who know this woman to see if she is still alive.
A no-fly zone was imposed over Crans, Montana, and authorities said 10 helicopters and 40 ambulances had been deployed initially. Authorities said they were trying to get the bodies of the victims to their families.
Russia and Ukraine accuse each other of striking civilian targets today, just hours into the new year. The Kremlin claims Kyiv killed 24 civilians in an attack on southern Ukraine. NTD's international correspondent Arian Pazdar has more.
Sirens could be heard in downtown Kiev on New Year's Eve. Much of the city spent the night in darkness as power shortages continued to cripple much of everyday life in Kiev. But people are still heading into the new year with optimism.
People who sit at home without light can still have light in their souls.
In his New Year's speech, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy again said that a peace agreement is 90% ready. He made clear that Ukraine wants to end the fighting, but not at any cost. That's after Russia called on Ukraine's military to fully withdraw from the Donbas region.
We want the end of the war, not the end of Ukraine. Are we tired? Extremely. Does that mean we are ready to surrender? Those who think so are deeply mistaken.
здатись.
Ukraine accuses Russia of attacking energy infrastructure across the country overnight into Thursday. According to Kiev, Moscow launched over 200 attack drones. Ukrainian officials say the Odessa region is among the ones hit, with a two-story residential building being damaged. Meanwhile, the Kremlin says 24 civilians are dead after Kiev attacked Ukraine's own Kherson region. Russia currently occupies and controls the area. A Russian-installed governor in Kherson says 3 Ukrainian drones struck the site of a New Year celebration. The governor also claims multiple people have been burned alive. The governor's office released pictures. One dead body was visible in the images. Ukraine's military hasn't commented on the accusations yet. The Russian claim of the attack comes just days after the Kremlin accused Kiev of trying to strike the residence of President Vladimir Putin. But Russia didn't release any evidence of the attack for 2 days. On Wednesday, President Trump shared a New York Post article which said that the drone strike likely never happened. Later on Wednesday, the Kremlin showed a video of one drone in a dark forest. Neither the location nor the date of the video could be independently verified. Now on Thursday, Russia said it extracted and decoded a file from a downed Ukrainian drone. According to the Kremlin, the file shows the drone was targeting Putin's residence.
We would like to share with you the controller, prepared by our specialists. We believe this step will resolve all questions and facilitate the establishment of the truth.
Russian officials say they'll now hand over the relevant information to the United States. Arian Pastar, NTD News.
The first major unrest in Iran in years has turned deadly. Demonstrations have erupted across the country over crumbling economic conditions.
Widening protests over Iran's ailing economy have spread into rural provinces. And for the first time, authorities are reporting deaths among security forces and protesters. This marks a significant escalation in the recent unrest. A Washington-based nonprofit in Iran said 2 demonstrators were killed during protests in Lordegan, which is 300 miles south of the capital, Tehran. The state-run IRNA news agency is reporting that a guard member was killed, but did not share additional details. The recent uprising started on Sunday, when shopkeepers started protesting how the government is handling rising prices, inflation, and the cost of living. They are also angry that the country's currency has plummeted to a record low. Iran's rial currency has rapidly depreciated, with $1 now costing about 1.4 million rials. Iran is still reeling after Israel launched a 12-day war against the country in June. President Masoud Pezeshkian has been trying to signal that the government wants to negotiate with protesters.
2025 looks like it will record the biggest drop in homicides on record, according to preliminary data. Stats also show crime dropping in every major category nationwide. NTD correspondent Jason Blair has more.
Preliminary data is showing 2025 is having a 20% decrease in homicides, the largest one-year decrease in the nation's history. According to crime stats expert Jeff Asher, the steep drop surpasses an already significant decrease of 15% in 2024, which was the previous record. According to preliminary police data in big cities, official homicide stats are expected to have dropped 31% in Washington, D.C., 30% in Chicago, 21% in New York City, 20% in San Francisco, and 16% in both Philadelphia and New Orleans. And the Trump administration has not been shy about pointing this out. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt shared a 2025 graphic from Asher's data showing crime down nationwide in every major category. In addition to murder, rape, violent crime, robbery, vehicle theft, and property crime all show drops. The Department of Homeland Security posted in response to the data saying, "Here at DHS, we've been operating by this radical idea that removing murderers from our country would bring down the murder rate. Who could have guessed it would work?" However, not everyone agrees that the drop in crime is related to the Trump administration's efforts. California Governor Gavin Newsom released stats showing murders dropping in his state by 18%. In the release, Newsom criticized the president's actions while highlighting his own crime-fighting efforts. Newsom said, with crime dropping again, California is proving what real public safety leadership looks like. On Wednesday, the White House announced the withdrawal of National Guard troops in Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland. President Trump said Portland, Los Angeles, and Chicago were gone if it weren't for the federal government stepping in. We will come back, perhaps in a much different and stronger form, when crime begins to soar again. A week ago, the Supreme Court kept a block on the Trump administration's deployment of National Guardsmen in Chicago. The court said that the White House had so far, quote, failed to identify a source of authority that would allow the military to execute the laws in Illinois. National Guard troops remain deployed in Washington, D.C., New Orleans, and Memphis. The Trump administration notably focused on increasing the federal law enforcement presence in major cities in 2025, with efforts surging beginning in the summer. This includes ICE and other Homeland Security personnel, as well as Department of Justice officers, including FBI and DEA agents. National Guard troops were first deployed to LA in June in response to crime and protests. Then in August, they were visibly deployed in Washington, D.C., where they are still seen around the city today. In November, 2 Guard members were ambushed and attacked while on patrol in D.C. One died of her injuries. The other suffered critical wounds but survived. There were also several violent attacks aimed at ICE personnel in 2025. Notably, near Dallas, an ICE facility was attacked by a gunman who fired at various places around the building, including a carport. 2 detainees suffered fatal wounds. The Trump administration plans to continue federal law enforcement operations throughout 2026. Jason Blair, NTD News.
New York City officially has a new mayor today. Zohran Mamdani was inaugurated as the first Democratic socialist to hold the office. Supporters say his victory reflects frustration with the status quo, while critics question how his agenda will work in practice. NTD's Chris Bobb brings us more from City Hall.
Behind me at City Hall in Lower Manhattan, Zohran Mamdani was just inaugurated, the 111th or 112th mayor of New York City. The ceremony's welcome address was delivered by fellow Democrat Socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She highlighted that Mamdani is the first Muslim to serve as the city's mayor and the first immigrant in nearly a century. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders administered the oath of office to Mamdani after a speech thanking New Yorkers for delivering what he called the biggest political upset in modern American history. Sanders went on to say that Mamdani's campaign promises, including free childcare, city-sponsored grocery stores, and increased taxes on the wealthy and large corporations, are not radical, communist, or unachievable.
In the long run, city-sponsored grocery stores will save society money. Demanding that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes.
Mayor Mamdani began his address telling supporters that today begins a new era before outlining his aspirations.
To those who insist that the era of big government is over, hear me when I say this. No longer will City Hall hesitate to use its power to improve New Yorkers' lives. Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously. We will govern without shame and insecurity, making no apology for what we believe. I was elected as a Democratic Socialist, and I will govern as a Democratic Socialist. I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical. The work, my friends, has only just begun.
After being sworn into office inside the decommissioned City Hall subway platform shortly after midnight, Mamdani elevated Mike Flynn to run New York City's Department of Transportation. Mamdani earlier named Ramzi Qasem, a former lead counsel to an al-Qaeda member and Osama bin Laden associate, as his chief counsel. He has also chosen to retain Jessica Tisch as New York City Police Commissioner. New Yorkers have expressed both optimism and trepidation regarding Mayor Mamdani's ability to follow through on his campaign promises.
Cautiously optimistic. Obviously he doesn't have a lot of experience.
Free buses are a good idea. I hope they can find the money. The idea of doing state the city-owned supermarkets is a kind of interesting idea. I'm not sure how practical it is.
Chris Bob, NTD News, New York.
Many have lost a loved one to fentanyl overdose with no way to get the word out to others or honor the victim's life. That's why one grieving mother started the Purple Rock Project in Long Island, a project that has spread to other states and is highly respected by the New York City DEA. NTD's Sean Marshall was there to get her story.
To show you first step, you need a rock.
Carol Trottier is turning pain into purpose one rock at a time with the Purple Rock Project. It's her mission to raise awareness to the deaths and overdoses due to the fentanyl drug problem.
My son Alex died of a fentanyl poisoning in 2018, and I didn't become involved as an activist or doing much for a couple years. I was just devastated.
During a Suffolk County conference about fentanyl awareness, Carol and a legislator decided they wanted to visually show the faces and the numbers of losses by painting purple rocks for victims lost, not just a yearly quoted number.
So after that, I had a lot of parents come to me from Long Island and asked me to make rocks for their children, which we put under this angel tree in this memorial park.
It's here at the Suffolk County Environmental Center where she began placing rocks to honor the past lives of fentanyl victims across the country for others.
Then that grew. Just this past September, I went to a national event in Washington called the Trail of Truth, and I brought the purple rocks, and people could make one for their child right there. And then all of a sudden on Facebook, they mentioned it, and it exploded my email. I was getting emails. I had a Facebook page, but it exploded with parents from all over the country asking me to make rocks. Alex, it's Mommy. I'm here again at the park. Anyway, we're just showing someone about the wind phone, and I love you and miss you.
Something else at the park is a wind phone, which is a disconnected telephone, often in a booth, used as a symbolic way for people to talk to deceased loved ones. Paulette Philippi, who has lost her grandson Gabe in 2010 to accidental overdose, has founded a nonprofit, Gabriel's Giving Tree, in his honor to help pay for the unexpected funeral costs of drug victims.
When someone needed finances to help bury their children, that we would have a cap, but we would help with funeral expenses. So Gabriel's Giving Tree puts $3,995 towards funeral expenses, and we give it to the funeral home. We don't give it to the family. We give it right to the funeral home for those that are unable to come up with the money.
The Purple Rock Project is also teamed up with the Suffolk County Sheriff Department to help with the distribution of Narcan.
The thing about the fentanyl poisonings is that people tend to have this old image of someone who's addicted to drugs, right? That someone's laying in an alleyway with a needle in their arm. This is a whole new thing. It's very different. I mean, I told you the youngest person was 3 years old, the oldest was 50. Some of these people never had drug issues at all, but they were at a party and someone gave them a counterfeit pill and said, here's a Xanax, here's a Percocet, and it was fentanyl. So this is a very different animal than when you're talking about drug addiction and substances from 20 years ago.
Purple Rock projects have popped up in 24 other states. And you can also start the Purple Rock Project yourself in your own area if you've ever lost a loved one you once knew. Carol shares the rock-making process on YouTube, which has evolved over time to become longer-lasting resin-covered works of art. She recommends to find a park in your area to place them and contact whoever is in charge of the park.
Town, state, federal, try to get permission to just dedicate a section of the park where you could put these rocks. I mean, it's an important issue. It's important that people know we didn't forget. We don't want them to forget. So you might have to get a little into being political, write letters to your local legislators or whoever's in charge of your town and your parks. And
if you have any questions, you can email Carol at catrotere@gmail.com. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Coming up, from his heated Oval Office exchange with Ukraine's president to his role in ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, President Trump had many memorable moments in 2025. We'll take a look back at several of them. And we take a look at some of the top Senate races going on this year. Can Democrats flip enough red seats to blue, or will Republicans hold a line? Arlene Richards brings us an overview when we come back. Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. From his heated Oval Office exchange with Ukraine's president to his role in ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, President Trump had many notable moments during 2025. NTD's Sam Wong brings us a look back at some of them.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
It's been nearly a year since President Trump was sworn into office for the second time. Hours after his inauguration, the president signed dozens of executive orders on issues ranging from immigration to medical research to the elimination of diversity programs in the federal government. On the global stage, President Trump's foreign policy has been defined by his America First agenda. He kicked off the first foreign visit of his second term to the Middle East back in May, with a focus on bringing investments to the United States.
In the United States, we've launched the golden age of America. It's the golden age. And with the help of the people of the Middle East, the golden age of the Middle East can proceed right alongside of us.
Meanwhile, resolving the Russia-Ukraine conflict has been a top priority. In August, President Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, as the future of a peace agreement remained uncertain. When dealing with world leaders, the president hasn't shied away from confrontation. From a fiery Oval Office exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy,
you're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
to confronting the South African president over reports of genocide of white farmers in his country.
Excuse me, turn the lights down. Turn the lights down. And just put this on, it's right behind you. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
And on September 10th, the nation witnessed the shocking assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. On what would be Kirk's 32nd birthday, President Trump posthumously awarded him the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Charlie is attaining a far more important milestone. We're entering his name forever into the eternal roster of true American heroes.
And here at home, America saw the longest government shutdown in the nation's history.
It's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
After a 43-day stalemate in Congress over health care provisions, the president in November signed a Senate-approved deal officially ending it. And there were also some lighter moments. While addressing a joint session of Congress in March, President Trump put the spotlight on DJ Daniel, a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor whose dream was to become a police officer.
And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
I want our efforts.
After a decisive victory in the New York City mayoral race, then socialist mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani met with President Trump at the White House in November. The two had a cordial exchange despite their political differences.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
As the 2026 World Cup draws near, President Trump was awarded the new FIFA Peace Prize for his efforts to de-escalate conflicts around the world.
The world is a safer place now. The United States 1 year ago was not doing too well. And now I have to say we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we're going to keep it that way.
2025 was indeed an eventful year for both the president and the world.
United States of America.
Sam Wong, NTD News, Washington, D.C.
As 2026 begins, the country is already turning its attention to this year's midterm elections. Republicans are facing favorable odds in the Senate, where they currently hold a 53-47 advantage. But what will they have to do to hold on to the upper chamber? Here's a breakdown of some of the top Senate races.
Republicans and Democrats are touting talented candidates in the fight for Senate seats in 2026. But with Republicans holding a 53-47 advantage, Democrats are facing an uphill battle to take control. These days, Democrats are feeling confident following 2025 election victories. And because President Trump's approval rating, particularly on the economy, saw a significant drop last year.
His approval sinking as more and more Americans disagree with his handling of one of his signature issues, the economy.
That approval rating for the president, it is at a low point of his second term.
Republicans remain confident they will hold on to the Senate and improve the economy this year. Meanwhile, President Trump has touted economic wins.
Look, we have $18 trillion coming into our country. I believe we're going to have the most successful economy in history.
He credits his tariff deals for the extra cash. He's also made recent efforts to bring down energy pricing to reduce what he calls inherited inflation. Can these latest moves help Republican candidates and incumbents fend off Democratic challenges? Here are some of the top races to watch in 2026. First up, North Carolina. North Carolina's Republican Senator Tom Tillis is retiring. Former Democratic Governor Roy Cooper, former Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley are running for the seat. President Trump won North Carolina 3 times, carrying the battleground state by 3 points in 2024. Democrats believe Cooper's popularity and winning record could change the red seat to blue. The Real Clear Politics average shows Cooper leading Whatley by 4.7 percentage points. Some experts say this race could set a new record for the most expensive Senate race in the country. Primary elections will be held on March 3rd. Next is Michigan. Democratic Senator Gary Peters is retiring. Republicans are hoping to win a key seat in this battleground state. Trump has endorsed former Congressman Mike Rogers. Democratic candidates are in a 3-way contest to win the primary and a chance to challenge Rogers. Candidates include Congresswoman Haley Stevens, Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and physician Abdul El-Sayed. The primary election will be held on August 4th. In Georgia, Democratic Senator John Ossoff faces a competitive race. Trump won the state by 2.2% in 2024. Alongside fellow Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, Ossoff won a runoff election in January 2021 that secured him a first term in Congress. He will have to fend off Republican lawmakers to hang on to his seat in 2026. Republicans vying for the nomination include U.S. Representatives Buddy Carter and Mike Collins, and former University of Tennessee football coach Derek Dooley. This race will be key in determining whether Democrats win control of the Senate. The race for Senate seats doesn't end with these 3 states. Key races in states like Ohio, Maine, and Iowa, and other matchups in key swing states are expected to be battles to the finish. Arlene Richards, NTD News.
Coming up as the new year begins, we reflect on President Trump's bold pledge to revitalize the Kennedy Center, one of America's premier cultural landmarks. Mariotsu brings us a recap when we come back. Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. President Trump vowed to breathe new life into the nation's cultural crown jewel, overseeing sweeping changes from programming to architecture. NTD's Washington correspondent Mariotsu takes us through the transformations already underway and what's ahead for this iconic institution.
Less than a month after taking office, President Trump vowed to restore the nation's cultural center, ushering in his vision for a golden age of American arts and culture.
And we're restoring the Kennedy Center as the premier venue for performing arts anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world.
He appointed a new board who elected him chairman, then secured over $250 million in federal funding for renovations under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
We have completely reversed the decline of this cherished national institution. We had a lot of donors come in for record-setting numbers, so we saved the Kennedy Center.
In December, the board voted unanimously to rename the place the Trump Kennedy Center, and President Trump became the first sitting president to host the Kennedy Center honors.
Welcome to a very special evening and one of the most important evenings in the American cultural realm, and we're bringing this building back to life like nobody ever thought was even possible.
President Trump describes the transformation as necessary to eliminate political elements, restore excellence, and highlight traditional performances.
We also changed the programming so that it was common sense programming.
You know what? It's about character in the end. It's about realizing that your traditions and the things that are part of your heritage need to be celebrated and preserved.
The Trump Kennedy Center hosts multiple venues with diverse programming this month. In the concert hall, the National Symphony Orchestra presents Brahms' Piano Concerto No. 1, followed by Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring. Meanwhile, next week in the Opera House, New York-based Shenyun Performing Arts brings its production featuring classical Chinese dance.
What we portray with Shenyun is a traditional Chinese culture, the real traditional Chinese culture, China before communism. And that is what the CCP is afraid of to have the world see, to see how wonderful and how knowledgeable and great the Chinese people were without this totalitarian government repressing them.
Shenyun has a live orchestra featuring both Eastern and Western instruments and seeks to reconnect viewers with China's authentic heritage. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Mariotsu, NTD News.
And staying in the nation's capital, the Washington Monument put on a light show as part of a celebration for America's upcoming 250th birthday. Here's a look.
As the nation prepares to enter 2026, the Washington Monument in D.C. took on a different look to honor the 250th anniversary of America's founding. Glowing with images, the obelisk turns into a canvas through a large-scale projection, displaying the trajectory of our nation's development, both past and present.
I wish we have more people here watching this. This is amazing. They put up some great work. Just seeing a projection that high, that's amazing.
The show was presented by Freedom 250, a nonpartisan group launched by President Trump. It features 5 chapters of America's development: discovery, the Revolutionary War, westward expansion, the Industrial Revolution, and modern day and the future of our nation.
And they have George Washington, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, all of our founding fathers up there that we're so proud of. And I think it's just so exciting to have somebody in the White House that loves America, that wants to celebrate America, and I think we're behind him.
Spectators reflecting on the paths America has traveled.
We came from a squalid little nation, we were settlers, and now we're here, pioneering, greatest country in the world. So I think it's amazing.
And from a world perspective, it's pretty young, but for here, it's pretty cool and pretty exciting. To be this young, to be this powerful, and to be such a world influence is pretty awesome.
The New Year's Eve projection on the Washington Monument is just a prelude to what's coming in 2026. The Trump administration is leading multiple events throughout the year to celebrate America's founding.
I think it's bringing back a sense of national pride. You know, we went through a couple of decades where people were ashamed and they wanted to be sad. Now we're at this point where we want to be prideful about America and what it stands for, what it's done, what we're going to do. So it's 250 years of celebration, but it's like 250 years looking forward. What comes next for our country?
The installation is set to last from December 31st to January 5th, and will be free and open to the public at the National Mall.
Coming up, rain rarely falls on the Rose Parade, but that didn't deter the century-old tradition. Jack Bradley has how Pasadena's iconic New Year's Day celebration powered through the weather. And big stories, bigger sequels. Next year's movie lineup is stacked. We'll bring you a sneak peek at what's coming after the break. Welcome back. I'm Tiffany Meyer. The Rose Parade rolled through Southern California today, dazzling millions of viewers around the world, even as rain fell on the historic New Year's Day tradition for the first time in nearly 2 decades. NTD's Jack Bradley takes us there.
A New Year's Day tradition more than a century in the making, once again bringing Southern California to life. The 137th Rose Parade in Pasadena filled the streets with towering floral floats and marching bands from around the country, watched by thousands in person and millions more around the nation. Rain did fall during the parade, a rare occurrence and the first time it happened since 2006. But it did little to dampen the celebration. This year's parade carried the theme, The Magic in Teamwork, led by NBA legend Magic Johnson serving as the Grand Marshal. Each float is built over months by teams of volunteers with steel frames and some having hundreds of thousands of flowers. Several floats also earned top honors, judged on design, floral presentation, and overall entertainment value.
Moving right along in times of good times and good news. Good friends you can't lose. This could become a habit.
The Rose Parade remains the centerpiece of the Tournament of Roses, alongside the Rose Bowl game, continuing a 137-year tradition that marks the start of the new year. Rain or shine, the Rose Parade once again delivered a New Year's Day spectacle seen around the country. For NTD News, I'm Jack Bradley.
A host of new movies are set to hit theaters this year. Between animation, dramas, and upcoming sequels, 2026 will be a big year for the big screen. Here's a look.
This revolutionary technology gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We put this into this. Yes, yes. This into this. This into this.
On March 6, humans will finally be able to talk to animals in the film Hoppers. The newest movie from animation giant Pixar stars John Hamm, Bobby Moynihan, Piper Curda. An animal lover named Mabel, played by Curda, transfers her consciousness to a robot in an attempt to communicate with animals.
What's up? What's up?
I understand you.
What you doing? Uh-huh. Lunchtime! Oh, no.
Yay! No! Put him down!
No! Okay. Why?
Huh? What? Why what? Why would I save his life?
Yeah. Yeah, why would you do that?
Wait, what? But she was gonna eat you!
Well, yeah, she caught me. It's pond rules. Mm-hmm. Pond rules.
Wait, I'm confused. How could you be cool with that?
I mean, she's gotta eat someone. So, do you still wanna?
Nuh-uh.
That's weird now.
I need you to come with us.
I'm not an astronaut.
If you don't go, you die. With the rest of us.
The sun is dying. Object approaching.
Oh my God.
On March 20th, Ryan Gosling will play Ryland Grace in the sci-fi film Project Hail Mary. The movie tells the story of Grace, an astronaut with amnesia. Based on a book by Martian author Andy Weir, Grace ultimately learns he's on a mission to save planet Earth as the sun dies, threatening a new ice age.
Is that me?
I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. Thumbs up. No, that's thumbs down. You would do the thumbs up. It's close enough. So, I met an alien.
He's kind of growing on me. At least he's not growing in me, you know, which was a concern for a little while.
On May 1st, Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep are back as Andy Sachs and Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada 2. Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci return, while Lucy Liu, Justin Theroux, BJ Novak join the sequel as well.
Miranda? Took you long enough. Bonnie, there's a package for you.
Toy Story fans are gearing up for another chapter this summer. Tom Hanks returns as Woody, who's joined by his sidekick Buzz Lightyear, played by Tim Allen. The duo will face off against newer, shinier toys 20 years after the original. Toy Story 5 hits theaters June 19th.
Thank you! Hi there, I'm Lilypad. Let's play!
Spider-Man enthusiasts have something to look forward to this summer. Tom Holland returns as Peter Parker. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, Spider-Man Brand New Day hits theaters July 31st.
We ready?
Another Marvel Cinematic Universe film is set to follow the latest Spider-Man several months later. Directed by Russo brothers Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, Avengers Doomsday will star Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Vanessa Kirby, and Robert Downey Jr. The sci-fi action favorite hits theaters December 18th.
And that's all for today's news. Round-the-clock coverage, visit us at ntd.com/live or download our NTD app. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Good night. Hi, I'm Tiffany Meyer, and from all of us here at NTD Evening News and China in Focus, we wish you an extra magical holiday season and a wonderful start to the new year.